Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Morning, people. How are we? Hope you're all well. Big up to every single one of you that's here nice and early. Big up to every single one of you that joined the show last night as well. Unbelievable amount of subscribers overnight and brilliant likes on the video. So please make sure you do me a favor and continue that. Please make sure you hit those two buttons. They're absolutely free, which is the absolute bare minimum that I expect if you are enjoying the content. Please make sure you hit like and then subscribe. If you would like to join as a member, you can. Hit that notification bell so you know when we are next on. Show Manscaped some love. Make sure you go to manscaped.com, select the Beard Hedger through beard and face section, and then use the code FTM20 and you'll get 20% off of the Beard Hedger. So please make sure that you do that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is deadline day. It means that at 11 p.m. tonight, there will be no more transfer morning shows every single morning, Monday to Friday. But instead, there will be the morning news show that we replace with it. So please make sure that you are subscribed so you do not miss a morning, lunchtime, or evening show. Trying to bring content to you as much as I can. Yesterday, around about 5 or 6 shows, I absolutely knackered, and I am feeling it today. But got to keep going. Today's a busy day. It should be a busy day for Arsenal, Edu, and Arteta. But will it be? That is the big question. We are going to talk about Arsenal. We're going to talk about agreements with goalkeepers. We're going to talk about wingers that might come in or might not come in. We're going to talk about wingers that may leave Arsenal. We're also going to talk about the striker situation. We're going to talk about Chelsea. We're going to talk about Newcastle. And we're going to talk about all other clubs that are being interested in moves in and out from their clubs. So make sure you kick back, buckle up, because this is the last transfer morning show for a while. Let's big up everybody in the chat room. Let's big up Dan, who's a member. Big up to Richie. Big up to Charlie, who is also a member. Hope you're well. Chazza, good morning to you, mate. Brandon, Andy, Geordie Tune for life. Andre talking about a verbal agreement, which we are going to be talking about very soon. Emerson, Civil, Lionheart, Akshat, Steve, hope you're well. Aaron, hope you're well, bro. Bearded Gooner, what a legend. Tanner, where have you been all my life? Hope you're well, bro. Richard here as well. P. White, Bo 93, Elwood, RP, Carol, big up to Ash, Douglas, Slims, Fraser, Kim Burkamp Hansen. I absolutely love your middle name. Demoko, Steve is here. Who else is here that I've missed? Ivan, Django, Adam, Leah. Who else is here that I've missed? Lee Highbury Halls, Smokey, Keaton, Paul, Bozo, My Life XXL, Rashid, Gouda Sid, Air Max, Ammo, JJR, Mort, Cal's Corner, big up to you, bro. Lib, Xavier, JJR, Cornbread, Daxi, Leo, and everyone else that I've missed. And of course, everyone else that's watching live that isn't in the chat room, that of course is watching on catch up. Let's get into it. The final day is here. What is going to happen? Is there going to be an absolute madness today? Is there going to be a domino effect where 2-3 players start leaving and that paves the way or opens the door for others to be speaking to? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it right now. There is a lot to discuss. First of all, Osimhen. As we heard in the chat, it looks as if Osimhen was going to be getting his wish and making a move away from Napoli. But it does not sound like it's Chelsea. It sounds like he has now agreed, according to Fabrizio Romano, with Al Ahly to become their player in the Saudi Pro League. It's around about 80 million euros as a total package. And apparently there is a medical that has been booked. It's a 4-year contract. It's around about 30 million euros, apparently. That is the contract being agreed. And I believe he's on about 450 a week, something mad like that, which that works out at. Absolute crazy money. But it looks as if Osimhen could be on his way to Saudi. So let's see what happens. I'm not sure if this is going to be 100% set in stone. I still feel like Chelsea might be in for this guy. And I think there might be a little bit of tug of war in between it. So let's see what happens. Fabrizio is pretty much green lighting this to go to Saudi Arabia. Is this going to get done? Well, let's be real. Osimhen has been linked the whole of this summer with a move away. PSG, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Saudi. Is he going to Saudi? Well, it looks at the moment like they're the favourites, that's for sure. No personal terms have been agreed with any of the other clubs, but it looks like Saudi Arabia have got there first. Watch what happens with Osimhen, because that could have a massive, massive impact on what Chelsea do and whether Chelsea switch their targets if they're not going to be able to potentially get Osimhen. If they don't get Osimhen, what other striker do they want? They definitely want a striker, that's for sure. They have brought in João Felix. They have still got Nicholas Jackson. So they're not short in that area, but they would like somebody to be upgraded on those two positions. And could it be Ivan Toney? Well, again, Ivan Toney has been linked with Chelsea, but he is also linked with Saudi. And there are reports this morning suggesting that the England and Brentford striker Ivan Toney is facing this prospect of being left in limbo with time running out on a mega transfer. Al Ali are also interested, but they of course now believe that they can go and get Victor Osimhen, which will deal a blow to Chelsea's hopes of signing the Nigerian striker. Would Ivan Toney prefer to stay at Chelsea? Well, he's on £20,000 a week at Brentford. 20,000. Absolutely mad that he's on 20k a week and no one is snapping him up yet in the Premier League. There's something wrong there. I don't know if it is this attitude problem, if it is his problems off the field. I have absolutely no idea. But for me, I kind of feel like this would be a very good signing for a Premier League side. And at the moment, it doesn't look like he's going there. Saudi are very, very interested, and it looks as if Toney could also be on his way to the Saudi Pro League. But nothing set in stone with these two yet. Osimhen and Toney, don't rule out one of them, if not both of them, moving to the Premier League. This could still happen. So let's see what happens, man. It's going to be very, very busy. We're going to stick with Chelsea because it looks as if they are more and more confident by the day that they can get a deal for Jadon Sancho. It does look like they're after him. And Chelsea, according to Team Talk, are edging closer to a deal for England winger Jadon Sancho. He's only 24, by the way, guys, so he's got a hell of a future ahead of him still. But they've informed Manchester United of two conditions needed for them to take him off their hands. Now, I don't believe those conditions, even though they're not spoken about there, are rocket science. It's clearly going to be wages. He's on £375,000 a week. That is mad. Absolutely mad. He shouldn't be on that. So that's going to be one of the conditions, surely. And I wonder if there's potentially something else going on with Manchester United wanting one of their players the other way. Maybe it's Chilwell, maybe it's Sterling, but let's see. Raheem Sterling, as we mentioned, his future is up in the air. And at the moment, there are a number of clubs that have been interested in the Premier League, and also Saudi are interested. There has been some other foreign clubs, Juventus, I believe, that were sniffing around him. Aston Villa at once were. Manchester United were, Arsenal were, Palace were, even West Ham, I think, were. Spurs, I think, were actually interested in Raheem Sterling. So he's definitely got some interest, and he will be leaving today. He's going to go to another club. Where's he going to go? Massive question marks over where. We'll come on to that in a little bit later when we go to the Arsenal section, because he is a player that Arsenal apparently are interested in. And apparently the Sterling reps have been trying to force a move to a couple of clubs, and Arsenal are potentially one of them. So this could be very, very interesting. Let's see what happens with Sterling. Okay, let's stick with Chelsea because they have sold, finally, Romelu Lukaku. He has gone to Napoli to join Antonio Conte. So that is why Chelsea are looking to get a striker. They managed to get just under £30 million for him as well, which is incredible for a 31-year-old striker who, let's be real, is in the decline as a footballer. They've still got that amount for him. I think that's very good. And Chelsea, to be fair to them, definitely deserve 100% credit for how they are selling players. And to be fair, they always have done that. It's absolutely insane. So there we go. Max is an absolute legend, and he's managed to put in a super chat. You're an absolute hero, my bro. I'm going to read that out, but I'm going to read that out in the right section. So thank you so much for your super chat, Max. You're an absolute legend. I really appreciate it, bro. If anyone does want to ask questions or via a super chat, please feel free. I won't have time to read out all of your questions, but I'll definitely have time to read out your super chats, of course, if you donate to the channel. So please, if you would like to ask a question, then please make sure that you do that. But big up to Max. I much appreciate that. And we'll be getting to that super chat very soon. Thomas Arajo, Benfica, 22 years old, centre-half, linked with Crystal Palace, now linked with Chelsea. It looks as if they have inquired about the centre-half and they are very interested in taking him. Now, listen, I don't know what Chelsea are doing, but this is a highly rated centre-half, 22 years old from Benfica. The Daily Mirror are suggesting Chelsea have inquired about the availability of him as the Portuguese defender looks for moves away from Benfica. Now, I don't know how good he is, but he is highly rated. And Maxence Lacroix was looking to be replacing Joachim Andersen at Crystal Palace. And if Mark Guéhi was going to leave Crystal Palace, which we'll come to later, Arajo was going to be the guy they were going to be looking at. Now Chelsea are looking at him. Now, Chelsea, for me, haven't really got a centre-back partnership together yet. I'm not sure I rate Disasi. Trevor Chalobah looks like he's leaving. I'm not sure that I rate Badiashile. Matt Levi Colwell, for me, is very highly rated, overrated, in fact, for me. I look at what they've got with Fofana and think, yes, but you've had 2 broken legs, ACLs, big injuries. Are you going to be the same player? I think Chelsea looking at a centre-back is wise. I know they've bought in Tosin. They've got quite a lot of centre-halves, but none of them are actually that great. That's the difference with what Chelsea are trying to do. So Arajo could be coming in. But obviously, Crystal Palace are also looking at Thomas Arajo as well, should they decide to sell Mark Guéhi. Now, this one looks like it has stalled and potentially collapsed. Newcastle were willing to pay 60 million, rising to 65. Crystal Palace want nearer to 70, rising to 75. It does not look like this is going to happen now. Newcastle look to have pulled out. It does make you question how much you want a player when you're not willing to go £5 million extra. That £5 million could get you the player. Just get it done, Newcastle. If you really want him, just get him. Clearly, they don't really want him, and they might now look at other targets. I don't know who those other targets are. There's rumours that Joe Gomez has been mentioned. There's other rumours as well. They have got, what's his name? Can't remember his name now. The guy from Bournemouth that they got from, is it Lewis Kelly? Can't remember his name. I always get rid up with Lewis Skelly from Arsenal. But Lloyd Kelly. Lloyd Kelly is his name. Lloyd Kelly is his name. They've also got him. Dan Burn can still play at centre-back alongside Shah and Botman. But let's be real, Guéhi would have been an absolutely phenomenal signing. And Newcastle, for some reason, have pulled out. And I don't really understand why. Surely, if you go for 65 million and they say, we want 70, you give the extra 5. Surely, if that's what you want for the player. Listen, there's 820 of you in here. Please make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button because we've not even hit 200 likes. Please make sure you tap that like button. Hit it, caress it, smash it, bash it, do whatever you want to it. But please make sure that you do like the video. We should be getting to easily 450 likes this stream. So please make sure that you do that. Hit the subscribe button as well. We're getting very, very close to 24K. We should be able to hit that today. So please make sure that you do that. We are on our way to 30K, 12th man community. We are going to get there with your help. So please make sure that you do that. Sticking with Newcastle, Miguel Almirón has been linked with a move for a very, very long time, but it does not look now like that could be happening. Fulham will not be signing the 30-year-old Paraguayan midfielder. Miguel Almirón does not look like he is set to leave Newcastle at the moment unless something last minute happens. There were rumours that he was linked with the Saudi Pro League club as well as Kieran Trippier. Doesn't look like either of those have materialised and come to fruition. But for me, is a very strange situation. However, if Newcastle are not looking to bring in a winger, they might as well keep Miguel Almirón and Jacob Murphy there because there's no point in going to clear out players if you're not going to replace them. Isn't that right, Mikel Arteta and Edu? Isn't that right? Let's see. Let's move to Liverpool now because they have rejected a bid from Nottingham Forest for Kelleher. How many goalkeepers do Nottingham Forest actually want? They're trying to get rid, I believe, of Matt Turner. They've got Sells. They've also got Carlos Miguel, who's been signed from Corinthians. They now want Kelleher as well. The 25-year-old Republic of Ireland goalkeeper Kelleher has been rejected in a cash plus player offer from Nottingham Forest. So what is going on there? Who do Liverpool want in the Nottingham Forest squad that they could try and get away? that could be an interesting last day for Liverpool. I actually think Kelleher's a good goalkeeper, and I think he could go and be a number one for someone. I really do. I'm not quite sure what level he's at. Maybe Nottingham Forest he would be, but I do actually think he's a good player. So could be interesting to see where he goes. Let's move to Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town were in for Brower from Chelsea and it collapsed. His medical did not pass. I don't know what happened there, but something come up in the medical which allowed the deal to collapse. But now they want Odsonne Edouard, the ex-Celtic striker who I thought was going to be very, very good in the Premier League and has been okay. Would he, with first team football guaranteed, be a hit for Ipswich Town? Well, Ipswich Town are looking for a striker. They have brought in Liam Delap. They have brought in Sammy Smodics, but they are looking for one more. And Odsonne Edouard is the guy that they are looking for. I believe I saw yesterday that they'd signed 14 players, Ipswich Town. They have really given this a good go and staying in the Premier League. And do you know what? I really hope that they do. Will Odsonne Edouard leave Palace? I think he will. Now that they've brought Eddie Nketiah and they're keeping Mateta, they're going to be the two starters. And it looks as if Edouard might be out of favour. Jordan Ayew has moved to Leicester as well. So Palace making some room for Eddie Nketiah. And Edouard looks as if he could be favourites to go to Ipswich Town, which I think would be a really good signing. It says from the Standard that Ipswich are considering a move for 26-year-old Edouard of Palace after a loan deal for Chelsea and Albanian forward Brower has fallen through. So would this be a strike? Would this be a permanent transfer or would this be a loan move? We'll have to wait and see. But Ipswich are massively interested. So this one could be very, very... this one could happen, to be fair. This could have some legs. But Edouard's got to have to agree to it. He's going to have to agree to that move. And that could be very interesting indeed. We're flying through, people. James Ward-Prowse is next. West Ham have said they have interest in allowing offers to be listened to for James Ward-Prowse. And at the moment, Nottingham Forest are massively interested. They are keen to bring in James Ward-Prowse. I thought they would have kept him West Ham. This is a player that's a steady professional. He's a leader. He's got experience in the Premier League. He's Premier League proven. His set pieces are insanely good. A brilliant right foot. And if I'm not over-exaggerating here, the last time I saw people take free kicks and crosses like this guy was David Beckham. So he has actually got that in his locker room. He's nowhere near David Beckham's level, of course. That's why he's playing at West Ham. But Nottingham Forest are interested. And do you know what? I actually think this would be a good signing for him. I think this is the type of player that he can come in to the club and do quite well. Obviously, James Ward-Prowse and Nottingham Forest is about the level that I think could be at. I do believe James Ward-Prowse was one of the better players at Southampton. He'll go down as a club legend at Southampton. I'm sure they'll have him back. Although Liam said last night on the show that he wouldn't because the grass isn't always greener. And at West Ham, he was a starter for most of last season, but it looks now like with the players they brought in, he won't be guaranteed first-team football, and he's not in their plans long-term. So James Ward-Prowse, who I think is at the age of around 28, 29, he is being linked with a move to Nottingham Forest. Watch this space. What's happening with this guy from West Ham? He's in a Burnley shirt there. We all know him well enough. It's Maxwell Cornet. What is going on with Cornet at West Ham? They haven't got much cover, West Ham, other than three wingers. So they've got Somerville, they've got Kudus, they've got Bowen. But Bowen has been playing up top at times. I thought they would have kept Maxwell Cornet. But Southampton are interested in Cornet on loan. It looks as if this deal could be happening and materialising. So this could be a good signing for Southampton. Only last night we were speaking to Liam, who was really happy with the Ramsdale signing, and of course said, I think we need a winger and a striker. Well, there could be the winger that they are after. Guys, there's almost 1,000 of you in the chat. Please make sure you do me a favour and hit the like button. Please make sure you hit subscribe. They're the only two buttons I need you to press because they're free. If you would like to donate a super chat and ask a question, of course you can. If you would like to join the channel, of course you can. Hit the notification bell, of course, but please make sure you hit like and subscribe. It's really important that you do that. At the moment, our likes are down, people. We've only got 227. There's 977 of you in chat, which means that there's over 700 of you that have not hit the like button yet. What more do I have to do to beg for a like? It's so important for the channel. Please make sure that you do that. We're just literally tipping on 1,000 people. So please make sure you do me a favor and hit that like button, people. I beg you. Okay. Let's move to Arsenal. I'm going to give the last day a little more of a section on Arsenal because I feel like it deserves it. There's been a lot overnight to take in and try and understand. Let's take in what we know so far about Arsenal Football Club and the transfers. Before we go into players and start showing pictures, I think it's fair to say everyone's deflated and disappointed at the moment as an Arsenal fan. I think that's fair. I don't think there's anybody who's not disappointed with the window so far. I think they're happy with Calafiori and I think they're happy with Mikel Merino. I'm not saying they're bad signings, but at the moment, that doesn't take it anything past a 4 out of 10 for what we need to do in the attacking areas. Instead, we've been mucking around with goalkeepers for the last few weeks. For the last couple of months, we've been mucking around with trying to get penny pinching negotiations with Merino and Calafiori. Congratulations, you've got that done. Now let's go and get what we need in the attacking areas because we are so short. But let's rewind. Because Aaron Ramsdale has gone. He is a player that's left. He's gone to Southampton for £18 million. It is an absolute bargain. They've pulled our pants down. 1 million extra is if they stay up, and 6 million extra is in personal add-ons that could happen through appearances and winning games and clean sheets, etc. Aaron Ramsdale is leaving, people. He needs replacing. Now, last night, Fabrizio Romano reported that they are going to replace Aaron Ramsdale, and it looks as if the goalkeeper they want is Juan Garcia, which not many people knew much about. He has a release clause of around 20 to 30 million euros, and they want that released. If that's not activated, he ain't going anywhere. He's only really played in the Olympics. He made an absolute howler at the weekend, apparently, or might have been yesterday. Can't keep up my days, but he did make some good saves. He looks highly rated, and he's a goalkeeper that Arteta and the goalkeeping coach identified as liking. But they want the release clause paid in full, and Arsenal aren't interested in paying that release clause. So it looks now as if that one potentially has fallen through, collapsed, not happening, not going through, whatever word you want to use. So now Arsenal are looking at other players. And it's this guy. An agreement has now been put in place. Now, Romano reported last night the only way that we would get this deal happening of Neto from Bournemouth is if we don't sign Juan Garcia. It looks now like Arsenal have moved away from the signing of Juan Garcia and have verbally agreed terms with Neto and Bournemouth for us to take him on loan. There is no obligation to buy. There's no option to buy. It is a straight loan for the season. And the 35-year-old experienced goalkeeper will be the number 2 at Arsenal. Now, Neto is an experienced number 2. Everywhere he's been, he's pretty much been the number 2. At Bournemouth, he did start to get games and he was their number 1. But now that they've decided to bring in Kepa, eyebrows raised, it looks like he's going to be their number 1 goalkeeper now, and they're going to take a punt on Kepa from Chelsea, which has again been a loan deal, and they're basically swapping goalkeepers, Kepa for Neto. So Neto, for me, coming in at Arsenal, I spoke to my Bournemouth guys who I know from the 12th Man channel. Can't catch a cold was what they said. Not what I want to hear. I don't think he is horrendous, a shambles. I've looked at him and thinks, yeah, do you know what? Not a bad signing that for a loan. But let's just move on from goalkeepers now. I'm kind of done with this obsession with goalkeepers. I actually get really wound up that we have bought 10 goalkeepers in 5 years and no striker. What's going on? When you look at the goalkeepers Arsenal have had in the reign of Mikel Arteta, you go right through from Emi Martinez to Leno to Matt Ryan, Matt Turner, Ramsdale, Runnison, obviously David Raya now. We've brought in Nyland. We've brought in Tommy Setford. We're bringing in Neto. That's 10 goalkeepers. Why do we need 10 goalkeepers in 5 years, people? What's happening here? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we really do need an understanding of goalkeepers. We're done now. I can't be dealing with goalkeepers anymore. So Neto is the guy that we're looking to bring in. Hopefully we move on from that now. But we are still looking, believe it or not, you've guessed it, for an 11th goalkeeper, people. And that guy is the homegrown quota that we want to sign, which looks to be Wigan Sam Tickle. We know nothing about him other than he's a highly rated goalkeeper playing for Wigan Athletic, 22 years old. He will come in as the 3rd choice goalkeeper. Tommy Setford will remain as the youth academy player and be 4th choice. And he will, of course, tick the homegrown quota when we are looking to play Champions League football as we were drawn yesterday. So, goalkeepers and Arsenal, I am so done with it. I am so done with it. I honestly cannot believe that we are still looking at goalkeepers in this transfer window when we have got 1 day left. It is a very, very, very strange obsession. Somebody said he has a fetish with goalkeepers, Arteta. It does really shock me and worry me that we've had to go through 11 goalkeepers before we decide on the 2 that we want at the club. I understand players leave. I understand sometimes that backup goalkeepers don't want to remain as backup goalkeepers. I'm cool with that. But we're literally rolling over goalkeepers every season. There needs to be a new number 2, a new number 1, a new number 3. I'm kind of tired of this now. Like, let's just keep the 2 goalkeepers that we believe are good enough, number 1 and number 2. And if the number 2 decides he wants to go, fine. But you've got to be clever about what number 2 you bring in. You have to bring in a number 2 that's experienced. You go, look, mate, you are number 2. You're going to sit here. You're hopefully going to win some trophies. You're going to play cup games and you're going to keep yourself fit and give yourself a good chance of winning some silverware. Yeah, fine by me. And that is why at the start of this window, I cried out for Kasper Schmeichel at 35 years old. He went to Celtic. Everyone laughed. I cried out for Szczesny, who's now retired. Everyone laughed. I called out for De Gea. Now we're going for one the same age, actually older than those people. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So that's the way that we look at it. Moving on from goalkeepers, let's talk about this guy because it does look like Arsenal are interested. Now, is Raheem Sterling going to be a good signing? I'll do the same that I did in the chat room last night. If you want Raheem Sterling in the chat, write yes. If you do not want Raheem Sterling in the chat, write no. Because I do not want Raheem Sterling. At 29 years old, he is in the decline of a footballer. He does not look ready at Chelsea and willing to be given his all. He has never really settled at a club and felt loved. If I'm honest with you, maybe there's something about that frustrates fans. Personally, Raheem Sterling frustrates me. I look at him and think, yeah, you're not the player that I would like. But I know that he's got talent. And I know that he's a player that can be good on his day. Would he be better than Reece Nelson? Yeah, 100%. But I don't want him. I don't want him. If we've gone all through all this phase and we're in phase 4 or 5 or whatever bollocks people want to talk about, we're spending this much money and we go, right, the final missing piece of the jigsaw, Raheem Sterling at 29. I'm going to be kind of disappointed. And everybody in the chat is agreeing. No, 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 no. And do you know what? I'm going to say this. Big up to, where is he? Big up to Martin from Mancunian Way. Absolute legend, man. Get him on here regularly. He's saying, yes, Arsenal, please sign him. Well, listen, as a Manchester City fan, bro, of course you want us to sign him. That is the biggest sign ever to stay clear. When a Manchester City fan is saying, do you know what? I hope you sign him. Then fair play. Listen, he did well at Manchester City. I'm not saying he didn't. He did well at Liverpool. I don't think Manchester City fans ever fell in love with him. Maybe Martin will tell me different. I don't think personally Manchester City fans would go, I'm so gutted that Raheem Sterling went. I can't believe it. He's one of my favourite ever players. But when Mahrez went, it was like, need to try and replace him. When Gundogan went, they missed him so much they wanted him back. When players like Aguero go and David Silva go and when Bernardo Silva goes, I think they'll all be remembered higher on the list than Raheem Sterling. And that says something to me. He's never quite managed to settle. There's always been something about him. So for me, I do not want him. But there's rumours suggesting that we might get him. Make sure you do me a favour, people. Go sub to the Mancunian Way. Absolutely brilliant Man City content. If you ever want level-headed Man City fans that are actually really good to speak to, then then please big up and go over there. Because for me, one of the best out there. And here he is as well. Here we go. Was great for us, but you ain't getting that Sterling. The reason he left us, same as Zinchenko and Jesus, with respect, Dad. Yeah, listen, you're absolutely bang on. You really are. There's somebody who's ranting at me in the chat here with massive capital letters saying, stop giving your viewers trash news. Listen, man, we're sharing information. If you don't like it, please don't watch. Thank you. Okay, listen, people. Sterling is the one that is being spoken about at the moment. Now, there are suggestions that the Chelsea reps of, or agents or reps of Sterling, I should say, are pushing him towards Arsenal. Mikel Arteta and Raheem Sterling know each other well. Raheem Sterling has said, guess what? It looks as if Arsenal are his dream move. I saw that the other day. I couldn't believe it. Arsenal are not Raheem Sterling dream move, people. Let's just be real. If Arsenal were down in 8th and 8th and 5th again, trust me, he wouldn't be his dream move. He fancies a move to Arsenal, apparently. I do not want Raheem Sterling at Arsenal. They are suggesting that it would be a potential loan move and that it would be wages of around £150,000, not the 300, though Chelsea would pay half of his wages. People are going, go on, yeah, we can really mug Chelsea off here. I don't want any more Chelsea rejects, please. I understand Havertz was not a flop. I understand Jorginho's not been bad. I understand that those two people are fans of, but I've seen enough of Willian coming in. I've seen enough of Czech coming in. I've seen enough of Lassana Diarra, if you remember him coming in. I don't want any more Chelsea flops, please. Yeah? If he is a Chelsea flop and he ain't good enough for Chelsea, who are fighting for top 6, why the hell do we want him fighting for a title? That's what I will say. I've not waited all this time in the transfer window to get to the last day and then go, oh yeah, Sterling, we win the title with him. No, we don't. We just do not. So let's see what happens. Looks like Al Ali are looking at both Toney and Osimhen. In the chat, people are saying that Ivan Toney and Osimhen are close. I did report just a little minute ago about both of those players, both of them going to Saudi now. Wow, that's unbelievable. That is incredible. There's 2 massive striker opportunities for Arsenal that are now missed. There is one left, Victor Gyökeres. He's the only guy left. Isak, not happening. Victor Gyökeres, the only one left. Arsenal aren't getting a striker, people. Arsenal are getting a winger. David Ornstein said something incredibly worrying last night. I don't think Arsenal is linked with any strikers, he said. There's no strikers I'm aware of that Arsenal are being linked with. Doesn't look like a striker's happening. What about a winger then, David? Well, they will sign a winger, but only if Reiss Nelson leaves. So we're cleared out the decks here of Eddie, Smith Rowe, Nelson, if he leaves, Fabio Vieira, and we're saying we don't need anyone to replace any of those players. Now, whether you think they're trash, no good, don't play any way down, oh my God, okay, well, let's just get 14 players then and go in the league. Good luck with that. When Man City is strengthened with Gundogan and Savio, and they're looking at getting a striker to replace Haaland. If that is the case, I'll tell you this now, we do not win that league on Edu and Arteta's head be it. And do you know what? On our ownership's head be it as well. Because that is a disgrace. Name me another team that goes into a title race, finishes 2 points off Man City, and the owners go, we've had a brilliant summer, we've made £10 million profit. Because that's what these owners have done at the moment. By bringing in Calafiori and Marino and selling all the players they have, they've made £10 million profit. We best not do nothing more. We absolutely have to get somebody in the attacking positions for sure. That department needs to be looked at. If Reiss Nelson is to be gone, there's only really Fulham that are loosely linked with him at the moment, but that could change in the last day, of course. Then it looks like Kingsley Coman is a guy that we're interested in. Now, Sky Sports with Dharmesh Sheth was suggesting that it was Arsenal who were the named Premier League club that were looking at Kingsley Coman. They have expressed an interest in doing a deal, which could be a loan deal. He's 28 years old, has unbelievable injury problems. And I said last night, I would not be interested in him because of his injury problems. However, if he stays fit, a little bit like Chiesa at Liverpool, you've got a really good player there and someone that can 100% back up for Bukayo Saka. He's a proper right winger, can play on the left as well. When he's on form, he's on absolute fire. I actually would prefer this one to the Raheem Sterling deal, if I'm honest. But maybe Raheem Sterling would be less of a risk, not as injury prone and Premier League proven. So let's be honest. Either one of those, none of them excite me. None of them light things up. But we are interested in Kingsley Coman. So will this one get done? It looks as if this will only get done, Sterling or Coman, if Reiss Nelson is sold. And at the moment, it does not look like Reiss is getting sold. It looks like at the moment, if that's put my money on it, yeah, Reiss might actually stay at Arsenal. He was used in the last game because we had nothing else from the bench. Let's be real. Reiss Nelson is an okay squad player, but he's not going to be the adequate cover needed if Saka was to go down. And I'm not saying that Saka will go down, right? But if he does, we need to replace him. And I just do not believe, personally, there's an opportunity for Reiss Nelson to come in long term. So, look, there's wingers we've been linked with. Edingra, Bakayoko. We've got other wingers I've never even heard of being mentioned from Club Brugge. Yilmaz was mentioned from Galatasaray. I do not understand what we are going for with the wide area. But if we're only going to get one, if Nelson was to go, and we looked with Coman, I'd actually prefer Gnabry and Sane. I would. Leroy Sane would be a much better option than Coman. He doesn't get injured as much. So, look, I don't know what's happening there. I really don't. But it looks as if a winger is definitely on the horizon should Reiss Nelson go. And one of those wingers could be Anthony Gordon. Now, apparently Newcastle is saying he's going nowhere. He's staying this summer. But he's on the list. Apparently, according to reports last night, Craig Hope and the Mail suggesting that Arsenal have expressed an interest in Anthony Gordon. The player is set to stay at Newcastle beyond Friday's deadline, but Edu is a big admirer of him, who features on a list of players that is identified as future targets. They could make an approach next summer. Look at this. We're being linked with rumours for next summer now already. We haven't even got this summer over and done with. Look, I don't feel this is happening, if I'm honest with you. He is going nowhere. He's staying at Newcastle. It would take a bid of close to 100 million to get this guy out. Newcastle don't need to sell. I understand we might like him. I understand we might want him. But let's be real. I do not see this deal happening. The other winger that I want but don't see happening is Nico Williams. Now, he has got a release clause we can activate for £49 million, but he has made it quite clear that he wants to stay in Spain for at least another season. And it might not even be Barcelona that he wants to go to. He's quite happy where he is for at least another year. Now, this would be a phenomenal signing for Arsenal, and one that would lift the crowds, one that would lift the fans, and also rival fans would get very, very twitchy and nervous about this signing. But it doesn't look like it's happening. It does not look like it's happening. For me, if we wanted to excite the fan base, we'd be looking at Nico Williams and Alexander Isak. But it doesn't look like Isak's happening. Toney's going to Saudi Arabia, it's been confirmed. Osimhen's going to Saudi Arabia, it's been confirmed. It does not look like Arsenal have got a striker to go for, other than one. We can activate this guy's release clause, 100 million euros, 84 million pounds. Is this what we have been waiting for? Is this what we're paving the way for? This is what I'm clinging on to, people. If we talk about Isak not being realistic, who is realistic? Sporting Lisbon surely would have no power if we released the clause of Victor Osimhen. Victor Gyökeres even. Too many Victors. Victor Gyökeres has always been the one that I've wanted. I'll tell you why. I said last night the reasons I wanted him were the following. 58 goals and assists in 50 games. In the first 3 games, 6 goals and 3 assists. He's on absolute fire. You might shout at me that it's the Portugal League. Look at Darwin Núñez. Well, why is no one else scoring over there? Why has no one else got 58 goals and assists? Why did this guy get 30 goals for Coventry in the Championship if he's no good? Why has he done it in 2 leagues and already had experience in England if he's no good? The guy is absolutely balling out there. He's on fire. We need to go and get this guy. We absolutely need to. Because for me, when you look at it, he's got his great link-up play, great with his back to goal, can score with both feet, man mountain, 6'4" striker, 26 years old, at his prime, good in front of goal, good in the air. I think he's an all-round 9. We need to get this guy in now. This could save the window, because bringing in Victor Gyökeres allows you to then play Jesus on the wide right. We need and must get Victor Gyökeres across the line, people. We absolutely have to do this now. This is the only player at the moment available that could save us. Toney's gone. He's at Saudi. Osimhen isn't happening. He's at Saudi. So it looks now as if there's only really 2 options. Alexander Isak, which is unrealistic, or Victor Gyökeres, which, let's be real, is unrealistic unless we want to release the clause. That's what we've got to be looking at, man. Victor Gyökeres, we could potentially get. I am so exhausted by this window. Maybe we get in a winger and a striker. Surely we're clearing the decks for something. If we're not, I really don't know what Edu and Arteta are doing. If we're going into this season with an injury-prone Jesus and Havertz as our only options up top, and Saka again as our only right-sided winger, I'm sorry, but we don't deserve to win the league. Yes, the left-back scenario will be great now with Timber and Calafiori. We won't be seeing much more of Zinchenko or Kivior having to play there. That's an improvement. Yes, we won't see Kai Havertz in the number 8 now. We'll see Marino or Declan Rice. That's an improvement. You can't stop there and go, well, that's it then. We're going to win the league. If Odegaard goes down, who comes in? Ethan Nwaneri at 17, going for a title. Look, I like him. I think he's a baller. But is he ready? We're not sure. Mentioned enough. A few pre-season games. Kai Havertz dropping into the 10. Do we want that? I don't know that I do. I think he's a 9 and nothing else. And then what happens if Saka goes down? We're relying on Martinelli to play over there or Trossard at the moment. Because Nelson, let's be real, just isn't good enough. So, for me, I think the ownership needs to look at himself. I think Edu and Garlic need to look at himself. I think Arteta needs to have a good look at what's going on around him and say, what's happening here? Is this what I need? Is this what we deserve to be doing to win the title? Is this what the fans deserve? Is this what the fans deserve whose season tickets gone up again? Is this what the fans deserve when their shirts that they buy are now 3 times expensive than they were 20 years ago? When in that 20 years we haven't won anything other than a few FA Cups? Come on, man. Be real. Raise the standards at this football club. That's what we need to be doing. I'll tell you this now. Let's come to a close with some of these super chats then, people. This one comes in from Max. Hey, Dan, we've signed Neto on loan. I think we'll get Garcia as a third or second choice or Neto as a third choice. As for the Sterling and Coman deal, I'd rather Coman personally, but if Arteta can help Sterling get similar levels as Havertz, I'd say it's worth it. Let me take a little breakdown of this, Max, right? Because I totally appreciate what you're saying, and I agree to a certain extent that the goalkeeping situation will look at a second and third choice. I actually don't think we'll get Garcia now. I think it's going to be Neto instead of Garcia. But I do think there's potential to get another young goalkeeper in that they'll want to keep as third choice. Why they don't just keep Tommy Setford there, I don't know. But obviously at 18, they believe that he's not ready for the opportunity. So they'll probably bring in a younger goalkeeper that's going to come in. Maybe Dan Bentley, maybe Sam Tiggle. I don't know who it's going to be. But they're going to bring in somebody, right? That means the goalkeeping situation started. As for Sterling and Coman, I understand why people would want Coman. But his injury records are a big letdown. I understand why Arteta might get the best out of Raheem Sterling because of what he did at Manchester City, but this is not the Manchester City Raheem Sterling. This is not Raheem Sterling at 23 or 24 years old. This is Raheem Sterling coming to the age of 30, who, let's be real, does not look himself. Arteta might be able to get something out of him, like he did with Havertz, but do you know what? I'm kind of sick of waiting for Arteta to come and get the best out of these players. I want him to get ready-made players who are ready to go now. I don't want him to have to wait 6 months to try and get Havertz kicking a ball. What a waste. What a waste. I don't want us to have to wait 6 months for Raheem Sterling to find his feet at Arsenal. What a waste. How about just go and get a player that's ready now? Boom. We're in for it. That's what's needed, man. Big up to you, Max. Absolute love for the super chat. I really appreciate it, bro. I really do. Cal's Corner, big up to you as well. He says, no concrete leaks to any forwards. No forwards at the end of the window means the mask is off. Mission accomplished. Champions League money and the mix. Listen, I absolutely would be stunned, shocked, flabbergasted, gobsmacked if we do not buy an attacker. Absolutely gobsmacked if nothing else happens. If we honestly get to the end of the window and Reece Nelson is still there as the backup for Saka and we have no centre forward other than Havertz and Jesus, I honestly believe if we don't win a trophy, that's a sackable offence from our team. And I'm talking about all of them, by the way. Not, lay off Arteta here, lay off the Cronkies here, lay off Edu here. Nah. Every time we hear them in interviews, this is a team. We're all in this together. One of us goes down, all of us fall with them. Do you know what? Yeah, if that's the case, then if we have a shocking window, stop getting the hump when we point fingers at people. Because actually, that's their job, yeah? Raise the standards. Be brave enough to say when your club is not doing something. The amount of fans I see that are like, Darwin Núñez rumours. Oh, I hope so. Arteta wants him. I want him. And then they find out it's fake news. And it's like, how embarrassing. Like, honestly, like, let's just be real. Let's just actually say it how it is at this football club. I get so wound up and frustrated when people are so, oh, I've got to be a good fan. Sit on my hands. Yes, Mr. Mikel, we'll do what you say. Let's just call it out if it's not working, right? Oh, it's definitely not Edu's fault. Let's just call it out if it's not working. And people stop moaning. Just stop moaning. Just be a good little boy and get on with it. Unbelievable. We haven't won anything for 21 years, man. Come on. Premier League title in 21 years. And people say, oh, just chill out. Unbelievable. Maybe everyone's happy with playing Champions League football. Lamar, I'm tired of Arsenal. Just end the transfer window. Do you know what? I actually do feel like that now. I really want to know what happens at the end of this window, and I'm really looking forward to it now. It's been exhausting. It's not been enjoyable. It's been tiring. Nothing's really happened for any clubs. This PSR has definitely had an effect because no one's doing what they used to. People think it's good. Let no one spending money. It's brilliant. It's much more fair. No, it's not. It's gone from people spend money to no people spend money. So it's as fair as it was before. It's absolute madness, rule. It really is. Anyway, so Osimhen to Saudi has been confirmed, yes, and it looks as if now Toney is going to Saudi. Check Sky News as well. So both of those going to Saudi Arabia. That is really, really shocked me. Really shocked me. I didn't think both of these would be going. I thought that they would be definitely leaving their clubs, but I didn't think both would go to Saudi Arabia, but they are. They're not mucking around. They're going to earn an absolute mint. It does not look like Chelsea are getting their centre forward, and it doesn't look like Arsenal are getting their centre forward. Victor Gyökeres is the only guy left. Isak is not for sale. That one won't be happening. What are Arsenal going to be doing? I tell you this now, and I'll end on this. Arsenal have got the opportunity to potentially pull off a madness. They could 100% go over to Newcastle and go, we've made 100 million from our player sales. There's 150 million for Isak. What you saying? They might say no. Do you know what? I'd go, fair play, man. We've showed some balls. We've left it late, but we've showed some ambition there. They want Isak. They now know in the summer, Arsenal are going to come back. Isak now knows, what's that? Oh, Arsenal want me. Cool. Well, listen, I'll stay here for a season, but that's it. That's what Arsenal need to do. Personally, I don't see that happening. But Gyökeres is the only other guy that they can potentially go and get realistically now with an activatable release clause of £84 million, which we've got. We've made that up in sales already. So Isak doesn't look likely. Gyökeres at the moment doesn't look likely, but could because it's realistic. Or have Arsenal been all along playing it very cool? Have Arsenal been keeping it close to their chest? The Neto come out of nowhere. Let's hope that there's a scenario like that later on today and we get a winger and a striker. Who knows? We might go up to Brighton and go, oh, you're right, Brighton. I know we've got you tomorrow, but here you go. Here's 70 million. We'll take Ferguson and a Dingler off you. I don't know. Maybe it's João Pedro. Maybe it's someone in the league we've never heard of that all of a sudden is going to come in and ball. I've absolutely no idea what's going on. But personally, I do get worried. Because if Nelson stays, it doesn't look like anyone's coming in. That's according to David Ornstein. Whether you think he's reliable or not, it looks as if Ornstein has said, at the moment, there's no striker. Looks like he's coming in at Arsenal. And at the moment, it doesn't look like there's potential for any wingers unless Reece Nelson leaves. That's the way I see it. Another super chat to end is, of course, from one of my favourite people, which is, of course, Max. Absolute legend. Says, just my opinion, Dan. I love your show. Well, listen, man, I love the fact that you've donated and everybody has put in a super chat. Thank you so much for those of you that have. Thank you also to those of you for watching and, of course, for smashing the like button. What likes are we on now, people? We should be on quite a few. At the moment, we are on 442. Let's make sure we get that up by the end of this show to 500. Let's get 500 likes, people. That would be amazing. If we could get to 600, it would be even better. So please make sure you hit that like button and, of course, hit the subscribe button as well. Big up to everybody that's been here for watching. Big up to everybody, of course, that has hit that like button and that has put in a super chat. I'll be back at lunch, but I'll be on Curtis Shaw's channel at 1 p.m. Please make sure you're over there. Me and Curtis talking all things Arsenal transfers at 1 p.m. Tonight, it will be a weekend preview show and a transfer news show, which will be at 5 p.m. because there is football the weekend. 2 big games as well. And then, of course, later on this evening, I will be back on the channel talking the transfer window and getting that sorted as we go towards 11 o'clock. So between around about 10 to 11, our show, looking at what's happened all around and looking at what's going on with Arsenal. So big up to every single one of you. Thank you all so much. And we will see you next time, people. Take it easy.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.